Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of Aero Nicely News. It's Friday, December 2nd, 2022. My name is Lenny Hernandez, and we've got a wonderful show in store for you. Today, we're checking out the Joint Commission accreditation that Aero Senior Living Communities have begun earning, beginning with VITALIA Active Adult Community North Olmsted. Now, the Joint Commission is a private accreditor that surveys healthcare organizations to ensure quality care for the public. They have been a global driver of quality improvement in healthcare safety for over 70 years. The Joint Commission recently began accrediting senior living communities, and VITALIA North Olmsted was the second senior living community in the entire country to achieve their stamp of approval, and the first in Ohio, with many more Aero communities to come. So, we thought we'd sit down with some of the incredible folks who have made this happen and to learn what it took and what it means going further. So, without further ado, welcome to Aero Nicely News. I sat down with Derek Harris, Aero Senior Living's wellness analyst, to learn about the process of accreditation and what employees are doing to make it happen. Derek, thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot to talk about with this accreditation, so just dive right in. Tell us about the process.
Yes, sir. So what we did is we partnered with a consultant with a company called Achieve Accreditation, and they really helped us through the process the entire way. What they did is we sat down and we looked at all three of our current Joint Commission communities, and we looked at where are we now and where do we have to be in compliance with Joint Commission rules and standards. And we really just hit the ground running, worked through everything with them. We had to make some process changes, but pretty much everything that we had to do was for the better. And we got through it, and then we were ready for survey.
So how did it affect our employees then?
If it was easy to become Joint Commission accredited, then everyone would do it. So I won't sugarcoat and say that this was an easy journey, but I think the best thing that I've noticed so far is just how this has unified our communities together. It's really taken, you may think that Joint Commission accreditation is only wellness or it's only clinically driven. It's not. I would say half, if not more, of the time spent during the actual on-site survey with Joint Commission was spent looking into culinary, housekeeping, plant operations, human resources, all those different departments that sometimes people don't think about when you're thinking of something that most people would think is healthcare driven. So this really pushed the teams to come together, to work together, and make sure that everything goes full circle. I would say that the teams came out of this so much stronger than what they were before. And it's really exciting to see this as a bystander to how everyone is reacting to it. I would say something really exciting about Joint Commission as well is they're seeing the changes in the world. They're recognizing that our employees are often our biggest asset. So that's another thing that they're really looking into is the satisfaction of the team. How long are our employees with us? What's the turnover like? What are the staffing schedules like? I mean, they're really going into this deep level that's amazing to see as well.
I caught up with Bridget Morgan, Assistant Executive Director of VITALIA North Olmsted, to find out what it means now that they have this distinguished accreditation. Bridget, hello.
Hi, Lenny.
Super excited. North Olmsted, the first in Ohio. What are employees talking about? Like, how are they feeling about it?
Well, when we did the walkthrough, we discussed with each employee like what they would be looking for, and we were just honest with them. Be confident. They know their stuff, so let it shine. And then if they didn't know the answer, just to be honest, tell them, hey, I don't know that answer, but I will find somebody that does, and being transparent that way. Now they're really, like I said before, are proud. We're the top of the market, when it comes to being the first assisted living. So
The first assisted living in Ohio, like you're going to be able to put that on a plaque out front forever.
yeah, our team is amazing, and we couldn't have done it without them.
How are your residents been taking what's happening at the community?
Well, they were very inquisitive, wondering what we were doing, but we also were very transparent with them, and we let them know what process we were going through and what they would see, who they would see coming through the community. They're proud, and they like to talk about it, so they talk about it with their families, their friends. It's staff and residents. It's a very exciting time right now at North Olmsted.
I got a hold of Monnette Geronimo, the Associate Director at the Joint Commission, to find out more about their organization and what it means for a community to get accreditation. Hello, Monnette. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you, Lenny? Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on whenever people hear this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Depending on when somebody watches this. Good morning or afternoon. Thank you so much for taking your time and kind of walking us through this incredible achievement. Tell us all about it.
Yes, I'm actually glad for this opportunity, Lenny, to be with you and the Aero team and the residents to share and congratulate you all, at least the first 3 communities that have gone ahead to try to achieve Joint Commission and have successfully achieved Joint Commission accreditation. Yay to all of them, to the teams, especially, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar, but the Joint Commission is actually in the business of really evaluating healthcare services provided in different settings. We're a non-for-profit, independent organization. Our role is to make sure that where healthcare services are provided, that these communities are actually meeting higher standards of care and safety. So that's really the crux of what we do here at the Joint Commission. And so your communities have actually demonstrated that they're meeting those higher standards of care and safety for their residents. So congratulations. For the assisted living community, it's very new. Like we just launched the program last year. So really Aero having had their 3 communities come on board on a pilot for this accreditation, it's just really testament to how the thought leadership that your leaders have had, because the Joint Commission accreditation for assisted living was just launched last year. Although we do accredit across the different types of settings in healthcare. So we're actually one of the well-known accreditor of hospitals. So if you're wanting to kind of evaluate which hospitals are meeting those standards, then you will want to see one that's accredited. And last year was when we had expanded that to include assisted living. And so we're happy that Aero and your communities have gone ahead to become leaders in this. As an accrediting program or accrediting body, we've been in this space for close to 60, 70 years now. And then in long-term care and post-acute or after hospital care, those services, we've been here in long-term care for almost 50 years. And then last year was when we had introduced our assisted living program.
So what does it actually mean then when a community gets this accreditation? What does it mean?
Right. So for a community to have achieved accreditation, it means to your residents and to your staff and even to your surrounding community that you have voluntarily asked yourself to be evaluated against these higher standards around quality and safety of care that you're providing to your residents. That also accounts for the staff's safety as they are providing that care. So the standards that we create and develop within this program takes into account those different elements. And having achieved accreditation does carry that message that you voluntarily allowed yourself to be evaluated against those standards and opened yourself for possible, where are the areas for improvement so that you continue to become excellent in the work that you do. So that is what that gold seal means when you're able to display it, is that you've been able to meet those standards that were set by the Joint Commission. And that certainly is a very powerful message to carry, don't you think, Lenny?
That's huge. I guess I didn't realize that we said we went potentially, is this, and correct me if I'm wrong, we said we want to know how to get better. We want to know how we can elevate our care. Want to know how we can elevate every element of our business, in a sense, our communities. Tell us how to be better. And then you all come in and say,
here are the areas. Yes. Here are the areas that could help you. The standards, even before that visit by our evaluators, those standards are already available to your community to evaluate yourselves again. So that in itself allows you to identify where are our areas for improvement, and also where are we already doing well at, because that's also important. And then upon that visit, then it gives you a little bit more, nuance in terms of how else might we continue to improve, all with a goal of really continuous improvement. And that's really what's admirable. And I really am congratulating folks within Aero Senior Living Organization for having taken that initiative and that step to be open and really looking for ways to be able to improve. And this is really a clear demonstration of that. So kudos to the group and to the culture that you're building there of continuous improvement. So that's really great.
So anyone watching, pat your back, pat yourself on the back, pat yourself on the back. It's such good work.
Yeah.
That's
because it takes time and effort to really go through, to be able to look at these standards, understand them, and then again have yourself be open to that evaluation. And it takes a lot of openness and maturity as an organization to be able to do that. So that's what's so admirable about the step that you had taken.
Thank you so much to all my guests for taking the time to talk to me about this, fantastic honor. And I'd like to congratulate VITALIA North Olmsted for being the first Aero community, the first senior community in Ohio, and then the second senior community in the country. First in Ohio, first for Aero, first in Ohio, and second in the country. Woo! Be sure to keep an eye out on your own local community, because Aero is aiming for the moon with a goal to get every last community accredited in the not so distant future. So keep an eye out, everybody. We're gonna get them all. And I know the incredible teams can do it out there, so keep up the excellent work, everyone. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode of Aero Nicely News. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to learn about the amazing things happening in our communities. We'll be back next week with more fun and excitement. But until then, for Aero Nicely News, I'm Lenny Hernandez. Have a wonderful weekend, an even better week, and we'll see you all next Friday.